What an absolute morally and operationally bankrupt shambles this Biden regime has turned out to be. If there's one war they definitely are engaged in, it's a war against the American people and everything this country stands for. Time and again, on every issue, these pathetic Biden people cave to the far left, cravenly implement their extremist agenda. Then, when the real-world consequences are exactly as disastrous as we all predicted, they try to run a mile from their own policies. But actually, the most chilling aspect of Biden's energy humiliation this week was this little phrase tucked away in his letter to the oil CEOs. Refinery profit margins well above normal are not acceptable, quote, at a time of war, Biden wrote. Excuse me? What war? Just in the last 50 years, it's been a time of war somewhere around the world, pretty much all the time. But since when has the President of the United States invoked wartime powers to direct American industry for wars that are going on elsewhere between other countries? We all know what Biden meant, though, even though he didn't have the guts to spell it out. The Ukraine war, which they kept telling us was not our war.
We are not going to be in a war with Russia.
President Biden has been clear that we are not going to get into a war with Russia.
The last thing I want to do is engage in a land war or a nuclear war with Russia.
But now, when he needs to somehow justify emergency action to deal with the disastrous consequences of his own energy policies, it is a time of war. So are we at war with Russia? Is that what they think they're doing? If so, do you think they might tell us, go through Congress as the Constitution requires? What an absolute morally and operationally bankrupt shambles this Biden regime has turned out to be. If there's one war they definitely are engaged in, it's a war against the American people and everything this country stands for.